This is documenting, well, I feel like I can describe things properly in my mind. I feel like I can relay what I'm trying to say in a clear manner. So, in regards to Morgellons and the physical manifestations of it, and that sort of stuff with Morgellons. So to me, Morgellons is like, it can be likened to a fungus. If you could picture like a fuzz that grows over things, not like a mushroom, per se exactly. There's a lot of funguses that are fibrous, and it grows inside living things, in them and through them, and out of them. And basically, what it comes down to is, we call it aging. We call it, your pigment cells in your hair follicles have stopped functioning because you're getting old and your hair's turning white and gray and silver, blue, right? That's what's going on. No, that's not. That's not what's going on. Over time, the toxins collect up that prevent the pigment cells from operating, and the toxins themselves are white and silver and blue, and they overtake the cell. They overtake the hair follicle. Tiny, 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 tiny. Nano, right? Duh. It's not like this isn't the 21st century or whatever. Was it 20? I can't ever get that straight. That where we can't understand, what scale is in different sizes. Okay, we're not on horses and wagons anymore. But I digress. So it's like this fungus, right? And I've described it before as like growing through your core. Sorry, I'm not having a shirt on. That's so it's relevant to it though. For I'm trying not flashing my nipple or anything too much, but I'm trying to describe the Morgellons and where it affects me and where I feel these the issues stems from. Because I could say like, when my ear would bleed or my eye would bleed, or have strange anomalous veins bulging out for no particular reason, while I got lightheaded and couldn't keep my balance correct or something. That would happen, and it still does at times. But where that sensation seems to come from, where I feel physically, and through my strange treatments, have discovered there's something to it. Like everything that I get a hint at, that I on this research or discovery of what is actually going to affect this disease, I guess you call it, disorder, whatever, the shit that's going on, whatever's going to work is what I'm trying to figure out. And I'm, real basic about it, even though it's from the outside it probably looks, quite insane. I understand that. And, there may be a little bit of madness to, being alive. So I think everybody can relate with that, because it's a strange situation to even be in a suit, in a place, wherever we are, how we got here, out of, something coming out of, like, iterations of people. It's a bit weird. Yeah, feel like a plant, kind of. Anyway. So what if there was this fungus, say, that would, get on to the people as they were growing up and getting older, and that was actually what caused the major decline in their health? Just what if that was a thing? What if we didn't know about it? What if the people in mass had no idea that there was this fungus that everybody basically got infected with? I mean, unless there's some remote continent that we don't know about, which there probably is, and our controllers lived there for 1,000 years or something, right? Who knows? But that supports that idea. Like, you got one little continent over here where the elites live, And they just, like, when they're bored, they come over to our continent and they pretend to be they're actors or they're whatever, generals, and they play games. And then they go back there because they live like 1,000 years, say. Something like that. That could be possible. But over here on our continent, they don't want us living 1,000 years, because if we lived 1,000 years, well, gee, we might figure out what's going on around us, and we might discover them, and then, well, wait a minute, you're fucking us up over here with this fungus, or just allowing it to happen, right? And so if you're the 1,000-year world over here, you control this place over here, because they're 100-year people. You got your 1,000-year people that live on this continent that we don't know about, that have been there a long time and know everything that there is to know, as far as we can tell, about how the world works and energy flows and how to harness it and all that shit. And we're over here in our terrarium across the plain in the other little ice pond, right? Completely controlled by the 1,000-year population, 100-year, 1,000-year. And how is it maintained that 100-year population over here will form one? They accept the normal signs of aging as being normal, and they've been conditioned to believe that even with it taking, at least 16 to 20 years just to get to be the very beginning of an adult, that living to be 65, 75, 80 is fine. And that's a long time. It's not very long at fucking all. Especially when you consider how much time it takes to be a child, a baby and a child, and growing up until you can be considered an adult. It's a long, long time. That's a short span of time for how long of an upbringing that is. What I'm trying to say is it's not very logical. And, I don't usually, go to Bible sources, but one of the things that's not just in the Bible, but a lot of ancient texts, is that there was, giants, of course, and there was, people lived hundreds and hundreds of years, if not 1,000. A lot of them, some of them over 1,000, they say, especially in China. But anyway, so that is supposed to be how humans are too. We're supposed to have about 1,000-year lifespan, I would think. And when you look at the Tartarian buildings, how were they able to put that much detail into building them? We know the stories we have about how they were built are completely bogus. I mean, they're pathetically bogus. I almost think the people of a couple hundred years ago that wrote these stories about it were intentionally writing them as stupid as they possibly can, like going, wink, wink, come on, future generations, pull your head out of your ass and take a look at what we're saying. You don't possibly believe this, do you? There's something going on. They're a wink and a nod to the future generations that there's something going on, you might want to pay attention to. That's what I take from it, honestly. Because, some of the stories are ridiculous. They're just fucking impossible and stupid. And, anybody reading them in the future should be going, they shouldn't be going, oh, wow, guess what? This is how they did it, hon. No. They should be like going, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And obviously didn't happen. I don't know. I'm getting off the point here. So the Morgellons shit. 1,000-year people, 100-year people. We're the 100-year people. We could be kept that way by this fungus that we don't even know about. This fungus that grows and slowly overtakes the organism that is its host, which is us. And as it does so, it spreads over and through their cells. And this organism seems to like nanometal particles as well. It seems to incorporate them right into its growth. And as it grows, it creates this fibrous network of little vein things, right? It goes around all of your systems. It wraps your nervous system with its tentacles like an ivy. Like the ivy clings to a building, and it wraps all around it and makes a weave mesh net kind of thing. this is how the fungus fruiting body grows, or this is how the fungus mycelium network grows. Either way you want to look at it, probably both. The fruiting body is what you see coming out that you think is white hair, but you don't even, but it's not the bulk of it. It is a hair, but it's a hair that's been nano wrapped down to the, you know, the gap in between the molecules of the hair has been wrapped around with this fungus fiber growth that really likes metal nanoparticles to feed on and incorporate into itself as it grows, like we all do. You are what you eat. So, just imagine with me, if you will. I mean, it's a nightmare scenario. It's not like H.P. Lovecraft shit, you know, but it could be if you got a vivid imagination. Think of it like, you know, a quintillion-armed octopus that, like, you know, sets up shop in a little lump on the top of your head and then connects into your nervous system and slowly over your lifetime weaves its tentacles into and around every single nerve in your body and your veins of all kinds, your lymph veins, your blood vessels, your heart and your brain and your liver and your kidneys, and, you know, down to your toenails, and fucks them up too. And so slowly over time, you get older and you start to develop all these problems because of aging, as the fungus fiber growth overtakes you completely, and, you know, into the ground, go dig a hole, right? So, shirt off, I know. This fungus would grow, say, through everything, like I'm saying. Some of the effects might be like skin sensations, which is big in Morgellons circles, hair texture, color changes, and standing up, growing at strange angles, or being at strange angles, or being highly sensitive to electrical or magnetic energy fields, like, you know, that other people just don't seem to know because they're senseless. You know, it's what it seems like. I found it's like on the surface of the skin, it comes like a wax, and it's along the core, because it's down the spine, you know, like I said before, like, you know, from the crack of your ass to the top of your head. And with me, I have this little lump there. I didn't, you know, it's been there a long fucking time. I didn't, you know, notice it for, I don't know when I first noticed it, or how long it could have been there before I noticed it, I guess. I first noticed it when I was about, I don't know, 35 probably. I'm like, you know, because I thought I just hit my head. It was a lump on my head from an injury or something, and it could be, you know, some of that, because I did hit my head a few times when I was a kid, pretty hard there in places, and but it comes and goes. It swells, so I don't think it's you know, bone, scar tissue, or anything like that. And then I realized that it responded to the Morgellons. It's starting to rain right now. There's always something that seems to pop up to try and interrupt my stream of thought when I'm, you know, trying to talk about this shit. Hopefully the water stays in. I'll be making a video about how my boat's leaking water, and I need to go back to Vancouver right now. Oh my god. Anyway, it feels like a wax on the skin. So when I use the you know, torch or whatever, and or candle, and vaporize the stuff off of my skin, it's not drying my skin out or anything. This fiber growth is what's burning. And you can see it in the different colors and textures on my skin, and some of it is underneath, like well, it's hard to show it in this light, but like this black spot right there, it always returns in the same spot. It's like crap under the skin. I don't know exactly if that's where toxins are, or if that's where the you know, mycelium meets the fruiting body and the fungus grows out of. I don't know. I'm not going to even speculate on it, but the dark spots are evidence of that. And what the hell was I saying? Oh god. Oh yeah, waxy. Then that's what's vaporizing, is this waxiness, this the fibers itself. The one thing with a fungus is, if you, I'll probably make a noise with the damn thing. Okay, if you injure it in one place, you injure it all over, because it's, if you're trying to kill a fungus, you have to completely eradicate it, or it won't go away, because even a tiny bit, it just spreads back out again. That's its strength as far as battling it, but its weakness is that whatever damage you do to it injuriously, if you are trying to toxify it or poison it or flush it or rinse it out, it weakens the entire thing. Even if you're only getting it over on the side over here, it still weakens the entire network as a whole. So what am I trying to say? I'm burning this off, is detoxifying myself with it. The evidence of that is the waxiness, and a lot of that waxiness is like right in my sternum, in which I'm just learning about the lymphatic system and lymph veins and ducts and things of that nature. But the areas where I feel the most issues that are Morgellons related, such as the creepy crawly sensations or problems with hair follicle type of things, or on my skin, or sensitivity issues, is in the same place as the lymphs. It's along that. From what I've recently looked into, unless I'm mistaken, a lot of them drain along these paths, as well, the collarbone especially. And this is where, even if I don't see a hair there, I could run the torch and let's see, and there'll be like smoke, from whatever. I can't even hardly feel it. It's really sensitive there, though. It seems like I would be highly sensitive, but see what I mean? That something is absorbing the BTUs of the heat before it actually gets to me. And in the sternum is where all this waxiness is. Anyway. It doesn't burn me. I could burn myself if I really tried, if I touched the middle to me, that would burn. I've done that once or twice. It hurts. So what will happen a lot of times? It's what am I? 1744, and I haven't even got to the point yet. What'll happen a lot of times, and this is something I noticed, especially in the sternum. So this is the point where I'm having a shirt on. The sternum area, check it out. Okay, where you're like, as you get older, like some of your muscle mass changes, there's like, and you can see your ribs right in this area. Well, I'm thinking that is the result of the fungus. It's not a result of natural occurrences. It's like weakening the muscles and taking over the area, basically, and that just doesn't leave room for the muscle to be like as it should be. And it's growing over the bone surface and whatever, and producing this waxy sensation. And if you do nothing, you get just weird colored hairs that like grow at weird angles and are not cool. They're fucked up. Feels weird. So as I've slowly progressed in my burning things, in my vaporization of the shit from one place to another, I've discovered it's everywhere, head to toe. So it's coated my entire body. Whoever has this is what it's doing. Still getting to the point. In this area, because it's everywhere, so it would take me, 6 hours to try and describe the sensation that it is at every different area and in its own way, because it feels different in every point and every part of your body interacts differently with it. But the connection they all seem to have is this type of growth of something that's messing up the natural structure of the physical body. In the sternum area, I couldn't breathe at a point in time here. Like, this was after my ear bleeding, eyebrow bleeding thing. I tapered that off using the heat, because this absorbs the waxy fungus stuff and dissolves it. at least on your skin. You can't use it internally because it's poisonous, but as long as you don't soak in it, or excuse me, as long as I don't soak in it until it saturates my skin, which then gets some poison in me. If I just rinse with it and wipe it off, it doesn't poison me. So just a side note there. Anyway, the waxiness. When I got to the point where I wasn't afraid to just, burn it off of my sternum and around my neck and my lymph areas, my collarbones, and I was comfortable enough and I realized I wasn't burning myself and it wasn't dangerous, as long as there was no alcohol freshly poured on there, obviously. What I discovered is, here's the point. When I get to my sternum, the little bit of the heat would produce copious amounts of the smoke vapor. It was disproportionate. Like in one area you'll see a bunch of hairs, burn, and then a tiny bit of smoke that's visible. This would be like you could barely see any hairs burn, and ridiculous amounts of vaporous smoke would come off that would like hang heavy and fill the air in the room, and you had to turn on a fan to make it leave. It was just heavy. And simultaneously, as the vapor finally, would release a puff of it on the first run, because it could do that for an hour, and it would continuously smoke like that. Like it just is, there's more always ready to go. You can't burn the same hair for a fucking hour. What I noticed was simultaneously, okay, now the point. As that vapor poof goes off of there, I feel phlegm inside my lungs that was heaviness in my breathing. It was making it hard to breathe. And it breaks loose. Like I feel this, itchy tickling inside your lungs, like when you got a cold and you're coughing up some shit. And, okay, torch, poof of smoke makes me cough. And I spit out this nasty fucking loogie. Okay, and this has happened time after time, not, every single time. It's as if there is a physical connection between the waxy surface shit that's coming through the hair follicles or around them or through the pores or whatever, making its way, expressing itself outward from my skin, and it's concentrated right here along the sternum and my ribs and my collarbone and whatever. And when I vaporize it off like that with the torch, there's immediate reaction of breaking loose something inside my lungs, in my breathing, in your air passages in there, because it's simultaneous. When that happens, something breaks loose and I cough up some phlegm, some gross phlegm a lot of times. Stuff that's not quite just like, oh, here's a little bit of, mucus from your lungs, that's, whitish or maybe a little greeny brown or something, I don't know. Whatever, depending on how polluted the environment is. Probably gray silver, since our skies are sprayed all the time. However, the point is that immediate, if this is part of the reason I come to the fungus conclusion or hypothesis as part of I shouldn't say conclusion, because really nothing's concluded. Everything is up for review at all times. However, the immediate reaction, and it's that correlates to other places too, but it's harder to describe there. It was really noticeable at my chest because there was a cause and effect. It was like spit up some shit, and I could breathe better. Now, what if what is a disease that has in X-rays looks like white fibers and areas overtaking your body's parts, your cells, and you might x-ray it. There's this disease that's really prevalent, actually, and when you x-ray it, that's what it looks like: white fibrous growths overtaking parts of your body. Or can it be anywhere too? Your skin, your hair, your eyes, your liver, your heart, your balls, your fucking ass, everywhere. and Dr. So-and-so says, gee whiz, we can take your blood and run some tests and we'll try and figure it out. Did they ever do nano fungus testing? You know, what a racket, right? What if you had an entire population that wasn't aware that there was a nanoscale fungus that grew inside of their body and killed them slowly over the course of anywhere, depending upon your strength and your health and your, you know, a lot of different factors, but essentially killing everybody in 65 to 85 years at the, you know, and that's the outside in. And the manifestation of that was the weakening and slow breakdown of the entire body, because this is like an ivy growing in a building, tearing apart the you know, the stones and rocks and foundation, and pushing them apart as it grows into it. Same thing. You're a building. This is an ivy fungus growing through and breaking you to pieces. And depending on what your particular strengths and weaknesses are, you will break apart in different ways. And if you didn't know this, you'd think it was normal. Well, you're just getting old, yep. And if you did know this, you might search for some way to address that issue, the core of the thing. Now, I'm not trying to say that people should never age or something. They should probably, and if, you know, you break a leg or something, that's an injury. We're not like, you know, some salamander that's going to regrow one. Oh, that's a weird word, salamander. Anyway. But the normal signs of aging are some horse shit. Okay? They correlate, every one of them, from, you know, hair to varicose veins to arthritis. All of them correlate to metal toxic buildup and or parasitic fungal infection. They have corollaries to all those things. The symptoms are the same for that, or just normal signs of aging. The symptoms are the same. So which is it? Could it just be normal signs of aging, or could it just be a nano fungus that manifests itself in this wax? Because I notice an immediate reaction when I vaporize it, and this is why I have to say with my sternum, and this is why I don't have a fucking shirt on. Because there's an immediate cause and effect reaction, and you know, it's one of the things that is, you know, I'd be dead already. I'd be dead if I had not done some of the things that I have done. You know, especially with the grounding and the mud baths, the electrical things. I have a short video I just made the other night with the proximity tester. I'm sitting over there anyway. Well, fuck, I better grab it. Show you what I'm talking about. This motherfucker right here. It detects AC power. See, right? I was showing my mom and my aunts that how that I found a way you could detect static electricity in your body with this. Static electricity is not AC, it's not moving. But if you move the meter back and forth through the static electricity, it gives the impression that it's AC to the meter, and the meter detects it. And usually, well, got a little bit right there. There's one, you know, you find the exact spot. I've been pretty well grounded right now, so it's probably not going to do it much. Yeah. But watch the video of my mom and my aunts. I come in the house with this, and my mom has cancer and Graves' disease and is just got done doing a bunch of chemotherapy. You know, it's been over a month, and it's been like a month and a half since she finished it. She still hasn't eaten. That's great, right? This went off continuously when I just put it to her skin anywhere. This thing was pegged out continuously to the point that the beeper went off too, because at first, you know, it's got to reach a certain point, a threshold, before it will go. And the computers are like not plugged in right now, so it's not going to go off there, but the light will set it off. It's got to get within a certain range, you know. See, right there is where it starts to beep. And that's like around 80 volts. This went off past the 80 volt mark, just putting it to my mom's hand. And her hand is arthritis all up, and all of her joints are swollen and look painful, and spinosis, whatever, on her fingers, making little spades things in her joints. And this thing goes off. This is electrical sensor. This senses electricity, electric fields, and AC, and it's made for wall outlets of 110 to 20 volts. So it's not like, supposed to be measuring microvolts or anything. This is a higher scale than that. It goes off continuously. She's sitting in her chair. It goes off on my aunts too, and all of them have health problems. My mom's are the worst right now, and you know what's funny is that, I don't know if it's funny, but prior to doing this last round of chemotherapy, she wasn't an invalid. She wasn't needing help to get to the bathroom or to adjust herself in her position in her chair. She was able to drive her car and go and do things and carry a conversation without becoming exhausted. And now she can't. And she did chemo, and now just needs to resign herself that she's an invalid now because. And so, how was that chemotherapy a benefit in any way? What did it do again? And she's highly electrical charged. This is for testing wall outlets, okay? It goes off continuously when I put it near her. Because it's so much electrical charge is built up on her that it sets off this meter that's designed for wall outlets. Is that normal? Does anybody? There's no research on it. There's no science on it. You try and Google search what I'm talking about, and you get videos about static electricity, and shocking things, or there's virtually nothing about how stored static electricity on a person's body, like a capacitor, like you're a capacitor. You're filled with metals that are highly conductive. One, it could just be the Wi-Fi signal hitting the antennas that we've been breathing for 20 years, electrifying us. And the more of it that's in you, because of what your diet is or what pharmaceuticals you may take or whatever, the worse it gets because of the electrification of the environment. It could be that. I don't know. Or it could be a relation to what is called cancer or calcification, of everything. Whatever calcifies looks like cancer. Whatever in your body becomes calcified has the appearance of cancer. So what's the fucking difference? It's like another name that's more ambiguous, Why don't you just call it what it is? The nano fungus growth that's overtaking your body. If it grows into a little area, makes a little blob, it's a tumor. Looks like a tumor. No, that's calcification. Oh, okay. But this thing over here, this is a tumor, that's not calcification, even though you test the same. And they're electrical, apparently. The more sick you get, the higher your electrical charge is. I can't believe mine's so low right now. Usually this thing goes off on me all over, but I've been grounding and detoxing myself with fire. Purify the temple with fire. I know, it sounds crazy. But is it crazy to, notice that, hey, this puff of smoke came off of all this waxy buildup that's on my sternum because I, slowly came across this idea that this might help somehow. And then I coughed up a bunch of shit out of my lungs that have been making it hard to breathe for, I don't know, a year or more probably. I don't exactly know. And suddenly I could breathe better, and then I could do things a little bit better, and I could function better, and my headache reduced a little bit. So, I have to go with my own sense impressions before I go with what people in society might think makes sense or is logical, because they believe everything their fucking doctor tells them. which they don't even ask questions to. They just go there and believe everything they say and do what they tell them to do, no matter what, until they die. Okay, go get your fluoride treatments. Get some extra vaccinations, too. You know, you get 25% off your grocery bill at the grocery store if you get vaccinated while you're there. Most health coverage will pay for it. And it's, you know, there you go. 25% off your groceries, too. Off your grocery bill. So, stock up. Sore throat, too. Oh, people saying they're cold. They got colds and they're sick right now. I got a sore throat, you know. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, there must be a bug going around. They got their mask on. There must be a virus floating through the air and it made me sick. My roommate made me sick. No. Go out and look at your fucking sky. What's making you sick is the neurotoxins raining down on you. What's giving you the sore throat and the stuffy, itchy nose is your histamine response to being poisoned with nanoparticles. You have a histamine response. Oh, it's an allergy. Oh, it's a virus. Oh, it's a fucking pollen count's high. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's the pollution index from the cars on the freeway. It's this, it's that. It's anything except what it is. Fucking people need to wake up. It's ridiculous in that grind. I mean, I get grumpy when I talk about that shit because I'm like, duh, it's fucking obvious. It's like there's a man on your roof who pisses on you the second you walk out your fucking door. Oh, I'm taking off to work, babe. See you later. Walk out the door. Psst, you're getting pissed on. Oh, gee, I don't notice anything. I'm going off to work. You're getting pissed on all day. Your kids go out to play. They go to school. They're going to think, oh, they're getting pissed on too. The second they walk out their door, pissed on continuously. Well, I'm not going to notice that. I'm just going to do my job and I'm not going to fall for those conspiracy theories. This is just a rainy day. There's nobody pissing on me. That's your average American. As Carlos Mencia might say. I heard he was a total sociopath. I don't know. He seems a bit strange. Anyway, yeah, it's 1:11 p.m., so I guess that's my time to cut this off right now. I made my point. Physical direct connection between the vaporization of that stuff, phlegm coming loose in my lungs, and me breathing better. And when I Googled my symptoms that the doctor actually told me about with, he said clubbing fingers, and I Googled that, it came up with lung cancer. And that was several years ago. This was like before I even had done that. I was having a really hard time breathing, and I did some ozone therapy with that. I had an ozone generator, and I was living in my van on my friend's property, and I said, well, I'm going to see if I can, kick whatever's out of my lungs with ozone. And I would sleep in there with that thing on high, and I was so sick I couldn't hardly, get out of there for, sometimes. So I'm in there, 10, 12 hours at a time with a household size ozone generator made for, getting rid of mold in houses that have been flooded, running on high for 12 hours while I'm sleeping. And it did. And it was painful. But I coughed enough of that shit up and spit it out. Yeah, I'm going to go into it right now. It's alright. I gotta go. I gotta start doing some shit here. Got work to do with my Morgellons and my crazy self. But alright, take care, everybody. Point was made. Direct connection. So it may seem crazy, but it's legit in the fact that I have proven it to myself. I feel it. It still is repeatable. It's noticeable. It's repeatable. It's saved my life, really. If I wouldn't be able to breathe, then I'm not going to be able to do much. And that was the situation. This is one of the things that has really turned it around. So there it is. Yeah. Okay. Take care.